Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you? Hope you are all well and in sound health. I think you are studying smoothly and staying home. So here you see my personal information. I am MD Mostakim, assistant teacher English, Bandarban Canton Public School and College. Welcome to my class. So my today's topic is right form of verb, subject English second paper for class 9 and 10. So before analyzing some rules of right form verbs, I want to know you what is right form verb actually. The verbs are the most variable element of the sentences. That means verb has lots of diversity in a sentence because according to situation, verbs of a sentence change. You see, sometimes we need to make a verb past form, sometimes we need to use a verb in base form, sometimes we need to add ing with verb, and sometimes we need to make the verb participle or gerund. So verb has lots of diversity in English. So the right form of verbs encompasses most of the grammatical rules of English language. So when we study right form of verbs, we will see that it covers most of the grammatical rules of English language. Every element of a sentence eventually relates to the verbs. You know, verb is the soul of a sentence because if we don't use a verb, the sentence never be completed. So it is called soul of a sentence. Then the verbs appear differently in a sentence on the basis of their subject. That means subject verb agreement. Sometimes we need to use a verb according to subject and subject, because if the subject does not agree with verb, the sentence is wrong. Sometimes we need to use the verbs according to tense or on the basis of tense, modes, voices, different structures, models, etc. That means for different or various roles, verbs needs to be changed. So appropriate use of verbs in a sentence is known as right form of verbs. Today I will discuss 13 rules of right form verbs. I expect that you will listen them, you will observe them very sincerely and attentively, because right form verb is not a very easy topic. If you don't give 100% concentration, it will be difficult for you to understand this topic. So I am going to the analyzing the rules. Here you see the first rules. Rule 1, that is very common: singular verb subject equal to singular verb, plural subject equal to plural verb. We all know this. When the subject is singular, we need to use singular verb, and when the subject is plural, we need to use plural verb. Here you see the example: Shahin is a meritorious student. Vehicles create traffic jam. In the two examples, you see in the first sentence Shahin, that is singular subject, so singular verb is used. In second sentence vehicles, it is a plural subject, so create, that is singular verb, plural verb used. That means we need not to add as or yes with the verb. Rule 2, preposition. You see I have given here in bracket some preposition. Although there are many more preposition in English, in, at, on, of, for, from, by, with, without, before, after, into, across, about, plus noun or verb plus ing. That means after preposition, verb will be always ing, but sometimes if we need not to use verb, then we need to make the verb noun. That means after preposition, we need to use noun or verb plus ing. Here look at the example. Television is an important source of entertainment or entertaining. Here you see the first one is entertainment, noun or entertaining. Both are correct. Children are fond of using mobile phone. Here you see fond of, that is a preposition. So after that using verb use with ing. Rule 3. 2 plus B1 plus verb 1. That means after 2 verb will be always in base form. But there are some phrases in English like addicted to, adverse to, be used to, with a view to, look forward to, get used to, be accustomed to, plus verb ing. That means although after 2 verb will be in base form, but there are some phrases in English I have written here. After these phrases, we need to use verb with ing. Look at the example. Shimu went to London to get a good job. Here you see to get. After to verb is in base form. Shamim tried to join the Navy. Here you see after to verb is in base form. I look forward to meeting you. Here you see look forward to the phrase used. So for that reason, meeting use with ing. Rule 4. Can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, used to, have to, need, dare, ought to, plus V1. Here you see some modal verbs or modal auxiliary. After these modal verbs, verb will be always in base form. Here you look at the example. He can do the sum. It may rain today. Shamim must study tonight. In these 3 examples, you see after modal verbs, can, may, must, verb use in base form. Now rule 5. While plus verb ing. That means after while verb should be used with ing. Look at the example. While walking in the garden, I saw a snake. While sleeping, I dreamed a good dream. Rule 6. Have, has, had, get, got, getting, having, plus B3 or verb adjective or verb past participle. After these words, you need to use verb with verb in third form or in past participle. Look at the example. She got married yesterday. I had my car cleaned. Having taken the money, the thief ran away. Our culture is getting westernized. You see here use the verb given in the bracket. Got, had, having and getting. After these words you see verb use in past participle form. Rule number 7. Passive voice. When the sentence in passive, for example, some sign you see can be, could be, may be, might be, shall be, should be, will be, would be, must be, used to be, have to be, ought to be. If you see these kinds of phrases, that means these are sign of passive. So after this phrase or these words, we need to use B3 or verb past participle. Example, the work ought to be done. He will be helped by me. Rule 8. Each, every, one, any plus one or more singular subject plus singular verb. After, if you see that the subject begins with every, each, one or any, and the noun with them is singular or plural, but you need to use verb in singular form. Look at the example. Every boy and each girl was present there. Here you see each boy and each girl. 2 subject join with conjunction and, but we have used singular verb was. Every boy and girl has been given 100 taka. In the same way, singular verb used here, though, because the subjects join with every. Rule 9. There are some words in English like population, public, crowd, army, congress, committee, team, government, family, pair, dozen, scenery, knowledge, 100, 1,000, furniture, machinery, information, bread, money, advice, poetry, gallows, ethics, mathematics, physics, news, electronics, dynamics, $2/3, 2/3 miles plus singular verb. If any subject begins with these words, or if the subjects of any sentence are this word, then we need to use singular verb, although they seem to be plural. Example, Illinois runs apace. Physics is a critical subject. Now look at rule 10. There are some words in English like people, spectacles, trousers, scissors, benches, clothes, goods, headquarters, vegetables, laws, police, cattle, fog, circumstances, gentry. After these words, verb will be always in plural form. Look at the example. His circumstances are not good. People don't eat the same food. Vegetable contain vitamin. You see here the subjects used from the word given in the bracket. So the verb used in plural. Number 11. Who, whose, whom, which, that. Follow only there before subject to choose a verb. That means when you see in any sentence who, which, whose, whom, which, that, that means you need to use verb on the basis of the subject used before them. For example, it is I who am your friends. You see who, after who verb use am. Why? Because before who is I use. Then it is you who are my friend. In this sentence you see it is you. Before you is used, for that reason verb are used. Now rule 12. There are some phrase or word in English. After them we need to use verb with ing. Look at the words given in bracket: mind, worth, without, get used to, got used to, be used to, past, cannot help, could not help, would you mind, plus verb plus ing. That means after these word and phrases we need to use verb with ing. Look at the example. Would you mind having a cup of tea? He can't help smoking. Here use verb smoking and having, both are used with ing form. Rule 13. Look at the word given in bracket: had better, had rather, would rather, let, must, need, dear, make, would sona, had sona plus verb 1. That means if after these phrases or word we need to use verb in base form. Look at the example. He had better read newspaper regularly. He had better not read. Here will be read. I will not let you enter the classroom. So dear students, here you see I have discussed 13 rules. These are not all, because there are so many rules of right form verbs in English. You have to understand them, study them gradually. Today I have discussed 13 rules. I hope you will study at home these 13 rules. Later in the next class I will discuss more rules. Here I have given an exercise for you. You will try at home to solve this problem. So I will end here. Thank you all.